Now, in the last segment, we just mentioned Chris Cuomo, but did you know that his brother, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, is under fire by some for an order resulting in some 6,000 nursing home deaths due to COVID-19? Well, you wouldn't know it from these two recent interviews.
I know that you've been portrayed as some sort of a homecoming king of this crisis, and a headline from Jezebel Help, I think I'm in love with Andrew Cuomo. The New York Post dubbed you the new Love Gov.
You are a bachelor. You've got a nice house here, having a moment, and you can't do a thing with it. Is your social life in a phase 1 relationship, possibly? Is that an unfortunate set of circumstances?
Oh, my goodness. Like love sick puppies. And joining us now is Adam Guillette, president of Accuracy in Media. Check it out at AIM.org. Adam, welcome back. At issue here is an order telling New York nursing homes to admit patients whether or not they tested positive for COVID-19, and without testing in some instances, it led to, many believe, thousands of deaths, 6,000 deaths at the nursing homes. And these two women, Jane Pauley and Amy Rohrabacher, are worried about his love life, and they made fools of themselves, and it's like they want to date the guy.
You know who's not in love with Cuomo? Senior citizens, because Cuomo is the grandma killer. How many senior citizens died? Thousands of them, because he forced those nursing homes to accept COVID-19 patients and forced them to allow nurses who had COVID-19 in there. In a world in which we've got to wipe down every surface, why would you purposefully allow nurses who have COVID-19 into the population that's most at risk from it? It's unbelievable. At Accuracy in Media, we have an internal joke each week. Who's the worst Cuomo of the week? Is it Andrew? Is it Chris? It's always neck and neck, but he's the most deadly.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. And he couldn't have paid for two better interviews than he got from those two women. Just disgusting. Now, you may recall, Adam, that in 2010, back then, Barack Obama referred to Republicans as the enemies of Hispanics during a Univision interview. And just the other day, Univision anchor Jorge Ramos stood by and let a Biden surrogate say this about Hispanic Trump supporters.
Hay que estar loco para ser miembro de Hispanos por Trump y defender el peor presidente que ha tenido la comunidad latina en la historia de esta nación.
He called Trump supporters who are Hispanic crazy, and Ramos stands there and says nothing. By the way, Trump got over 30% of the Hispanic vote the first time around, so they must all be crazy, I guess.
I just always think it's so incredibly dehumanizing to judge people by something as simplistic as their ethnicity, as if Hispanic voters wouldn't be motivated by other factors like an economy, the job market, healthcare. To think that people are purely motivated by their individual race is disgusting and dehumanizing, and that's all the left has these days. They want to put us into piles based on our race, based on our gender, based on our sexuality, and then pit us against one another for their own political outcome. It's outrageous.
It is outrageous, and it's outrageous for Ramos to let that go unchallenged. Now, I want to go to the alleged hate crime against the only full-time black NASCAR driver, Bubba Wallace, and the noose incident. Even after the FBI checked it out and said there was no hate crime, that noose was there for almost a year, since 2019, MSNBC's Al Sharpton, never one to miss a good, racial division opportunity, said this.
So I don't think this answers a lot of questions. And clearly from what we just saw of Bubba Wallace, it does not seem he, who is the victim and possible target in this matter, seems to be satisfied with this. So I do not think that we've seen closure in this particular inquiry.
What the heck is he talking about?
It's Al Sharpton. He's never going to see closure until his charity gets a payoff and gets a check. That's his definition of closure in any racial relations dispute. The guy is morally bankrupt, which makes him fit right at home at MSNBC. But saying comments like that, really, why would you stoke the flames of division in America at a time like this? We should be glad it turned out not to be a hate crime. We should appreciate that. We shouldn't be in denial of reality.
You have on the Accuracy in Media website, CNN using an incomplete study to show that protests don't lead to more coronavirus cases. And I got to tell you, it's nothing but wall-to-wall coronavirus cases on all the cable networks. And not one of them has said, hey, it's about 2 to 3 weeks after the protests and riots. Maybe that's because of the protests and riots.
Adam Carolla summed it up best when he said not only are these protests and riots people close together, but they're chanting, they're shouting. When the tear gas gets sprayed, they're coughing. If ever there was an environment that was going to spread the COVIDs, these protests would be it. But as we've often said, the coverage we see from the mainstream media is like fan fiction. They're playing for a rabid anti-Trump progressive audience, and they'll write any stories that will sell to that audience,
right,
even if they know them not to be true.
Yeah, I'd like everybody to go to AIM.org, check out this phony CNN story, or the phony survey that was used to write this story. Adam Guillette, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor.